Tonight in the Fantasy Grotto, we're talking running backs. Later, we profile one of the best documented fantasy players in the world, Biff Mandel. Also, Operation Frosty, Zebb's Corner, apologies, and other stupid shit along the way. Let's go. And with me tonight is my buddy, my pal, my chum, Mr. Zebb Cap, and also the fantasy agitator, the one and only JT, aka Newman. Zebb.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you feeling?
Good, man. Doing a little better this week after you and Vince gave me a bad time last week for talking too much on the corner. So, anyway, what do we got tonight?
Let's find out. Fantasy headlines. So, Michael Thomas. What are you guys doing with Michael Thomas?
So me, Dynasty, I've traded for him once. Traded like a future first for him. Yeah, come on, man. He's 28? So I think he'll be fine if he gets traded. But it's a team like I'm usually on the cusp of making the playoffs, so I thought I'd sell future first for him. Redraft, I'm really avoiding unless I've got like quality starters already, where I could just sit him on the bench for like 7-8 weeks.
I think that trade might move you further away from the cusp.
Please. Nah, it's a pretty solid team. We'll see. We might have to make a side bet on that one. How about you, JT?
I tend to agree with Chris on that one. Although I just sold Thomas for Rashad Bateman and a pick, and that looks like it went a little south.
Yeah. What pick?
I got Rashad Bateman in a late second.
I like Bateman a lot. These issues with Michael Thomas, they've gotten progressively worse. My joking comment a couple of months ago was he has Keyshawn blood. Remember Keyshawn was kind of a pain in the ass, give me the damn ball. But the most concerning thing to me was hearing this report. I questioned why, if he had this injury, why didn't he get surgery done, a lot sooner? And then it just came out this week that nobody in New Orleans could get a hold of him, from the coaches to the training staff. And to me, that is extremely disparaging. A professional needs to answer his phone, needs to respond to people in the organization. I remember a couple of years ago, I was having a tough time at work, and I took a mental health day off. I wasn't losing my mind or anything. I just wanted a day off to get away from it for a day, And the next morning on my day off, my boss calls me early in the morning, but, I didn't just ignore it. I picked up my phone because it was my boss calling me, and I'm not making 5, 10, 20 million dollars a year like these guys do. So I don't know. To me, that's an extremely, red flag to not communicate with your organization.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he is a total wanker for doing that. But I guess for dynasty purposes, I'm willing to sell first for him. And then if I have a deep bench on redraft, why not let him sit there and marinate for a couple of weeks? You never know. I mean,
it seems like the guys that I tried to marinate for a couple of weeks never seem to pan out. So I'm trying not to let guys marinate. I'm not touching them in redraft. Round 15, maybe take a flyer on them, because that's round
15. Okay.
Hey,
so
man, I got the number one receiver, Marquez Callaway, in New Orleans in the 16th round in my last draft. So I'd rather have him than Michael Thomas right now.
Oh yeah. Right now. But I mean, 8 weeks in, who knows? I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of strange. He waited so long to get surgery.
Yeah.
So.
Other news: Zach Moss in Buffalo has a hammy. I have been targeting Zach Moss. I think Josh Allen's going to run a little bit less this year. I think with that defense, the weather gets bad there. I really like Moss's potential. Singletary is pretty talented though as well. What are you guys doing with Zach Moss?
I haven't drafted him anywhere in redraft, just with Bill's passing game and Josh Allen running so much. I mean, to me, he'd be one of those like flex type players that if he outperforms expectations could lead your team deep into the playoffs. But I don't know. I just don't get good vibes whenever he's on the draft board and I have a chance to pick him. I just hesitate, at least for redraft. I'm fine holding him in dynasty where, you know, he can mature a little bit and you have more time. But how about you, JT?
I've actually been taking him some. He's been going in the 8th ADP wise. I mean, I know he's not a stud. Probably isn't going to get a ton of touchdowns with Josh Allen there. But if this news dips his ADP a little further and you can get him in round 9 or so, I'm still in.
Yeah, I noticed you were getting him a lot, JT, especially early on in the season. And I've seen his ADP creep up because I remember I was targeting him, I think, in the 9th, and he was gone in the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of the highest scoring offenses. I mean, don't tell Wasp, but they're pretty close to KC and
that's what's missing tonight is Wasp. You know, you and him arguing. Maybe you and Bip will argue here in a little bit.
Speaking of such, it is my absolute pleasure to announce our next guest. As soon as joining us, last year's Pros vs. Joes co-champ, the DFWC Dynasty World Champ in 2015. He sold his $750 Dynasty team for an incomprehensible $9,000. Let's break Underwood of Dynasty. His gains on both fantasy football and crypto last year were so impressive that I can't even talk about them. He finished 8th overall in the FFPC main event. The only man I'm partnering with this year, the hardest working man in the fantasy business, the incomparable Bip Vandell. Bip!
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Wow, that's the first time anyone has ever said that in a conversation I've been involved in. That is history right there.
I feel like I
Well,
need
the
to pump
comment
some
was
oxygen.
more for Chris, not for you, Zebb.
I feel like I need to puff some oxygen after that intro, Bip.
God. Hey, Bip, I know we're going to talk about football, but maybe we can talk a little option trading if time allows at some point today.
Sure.
Cool.
Thanks for the tip, though. I'm making some money there.
I
Nice.
will bet 3-1 that option trading conversation gets sexual at some point.
I don't know. Well, Bip Lab's involved. I mean, his entry music is sexual enough.
Bip, how's draft season treating you so far?
It's been good. You know, I really enjoy these slow drafts. Last year I started doing those because COVID was driving me crazy and lockdown and staying at home. But I feel it's a good distraction, you know, during the off season or building up to the main season. Work has gotten a lot busier for me these days, so I can't. I'm not doing that much of live drafting yet. So the slow drafts have kept me afloat. I think I've done 20 plus football guys, 6 or 7 main events already.
So 27, how many more do you have to go?
I just don't plan that way. It depends on my mood and what I feel like. I do know I still have all the Vegas live main events, and I'll probably squeeze in another 2 or 3 main events in between. So total of 15 main events this year for me.
And I know I've asked you this like 3 or 4 times, but we're drafting Thursday morning in Vegas at 10 a.m. 9 o'clock.
Yep.
I'll be there at 8:59. Like a pro.
So are you guys doing the super bracket or what?
No,
What are
we
you
are
doing?
only doing main events. We don't do super.
On Thursday? They're doing them on Thursday?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, we got
So-
second spot. We have a different team name. That's why.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
So you're not going to let me talk to Antonio Gibson, the second spot, are you?
No, I'm not. Zebb.
Turbo package.
Turbo package.
That was my nickname in high school.
I picture Chris reading, like, every morning waking up and searching Antonio Gibson with a bottle of lotion by his side. I don't know.
I have to do it while I still have my robe on.
I'm sure Chris has lots of Antonio Gibson, so hopefully he makes it back in second round.
Doubtful. So, Bip, how long have you been playing fantasy?
I'm less than 10 years, I would say. You know, I got into fantasy at work. So I was a big time cricket fan, right? Coming from India and coming to US, and I never understood this game, but I'm very competitive, and at work people started pulling money and playing fantasy football, and I thought, okay, I'll do it. And coincidentally, I won the first year. So either they sucked or my research was good. So and that made me get a bit bolder. And I remember buying a dispersal draft team at FFPC. That league, I'm still there, 501. Me and Joseph Papriski, we bought in that year. And then I started enjoying and then getting some little success. And so my moves got bolder and bolder. You know, you start with the $35, you get success, you go get into football guys, you get success. And then I realized, you know, no matter how good you are, you need to be lucky at the end. And if your research is solid, you'll compete. You don't need to know the technicals of the game and whatnot. And so, yeah, that's been my fantasy journey. And I've been lucky that way.
What percent of fantasy football do you think is luck?
Ooh, I would say in the tournaments, more than 40% is luck, because even if you have skills, it only gets you to the final 3 weeks, and then that's all luck. And to win big money in a tournament, everything has to align, right? No matter how great team you had last year, if you did not have Alvin Kamara, you did not win a tournament, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a lot higher in a national tournament contest like that with 10, 20,000
Right.
people. But what do you think?
With dynasties,
what do you think, like, just generally, like in a 12-man league? Do you think,
in a
like,
12-man league or a dynasty, even, you know, I would say the luck percent will be 20%, because you need to still get to the finals and win it. And why I say 20% is because now you don't have repeatable players. In the tournaments, you have repeatable players. So you really need, like last year, what happened, the Miles Gaskins of the world to complement with Alvin Kamara or a JD McKissick. You know, you need those kind of players in tournament, but you'll get away not having them in a 12-team league. So I'll say 20% luck.
Hey Chris, did you hear him say JD McKissick? That's right, bitch.
That's a conversation that I hear come up frequently, is people debating, you know, the percent of luck in fantasy. So I just wanted to get some input from one of the masters. That's a really impressive resume you've put together in 10 years, but I've been playing for more than 20 years, and I don't know if I have the credentials.
Yeah, I was actually in that 500-1 with Bip when he joined, and he made like a trade. I think he traded like like a future first for Jimmy Graham, and everyone just gave him hell over it. And like hindsight, it wasn't that bad of a trade. But at the time, he was like, Bip was the new guy, and he was making like, it seemed like he was selling stuff for cheap, and then it turned into the opposite. He turned into the greedy bastard he is today. So I've been able to see him evolve, you know. So.
Yep. And I think I've been lucky having you know, not only good secondary research, but a good company of friends. You know, I'm that kind of person who doesn't have big ego, and I can get along with anybody. I've seen in the fantasy community, sometimes if you have a big resume, a lot of people are pretty snobbish and have a high attitude around them as if they know everything. And I'm not one. So I'll get along with Chris, yourself, your enemies, your friends, everybody. And that has helped. And what I do is I take everyone's opinion, map it in my mind, and then form my opinion. That really works for me.
Yeah, I think the chat that we've been a part of for a couple of years, really, you know, it's iron sharpening iron kind of deal.
Yep.
You know, we're all strong-willed and opinionated, and we argue and
Yeah.
talk a lot of shit. But I think what you just said about putting that in your mind and documenting it and to help form your own opinion. Like the other night, Joe drafted a guy that I had to Google, Xavier Jones. And now a week later, this guy's creeping up the ADP. He's getting talked about on Sirius.
Yep.
And he's really got some heat behind him all suddenly. And I still haven't even seen this guy's tape yet, but I'm going to be all over it.
Yep. And Joe, I just drafted him in a main event in 13th round. And Joe, he's interesting. I think he's one of the more lucky players I have seen, and I'm generalizing here, but he has this magic, I don't know, wand or something. Whatever he trades for, suddenly, we may think it is bad, but come playoffs, his players end up clicking. And I know he's won some prizes in the 501 with a shitty team, but he's good. And he's a football coach. I think he teaches football, so he probably understands some of the technicalities that I do not. But that's
doesn't he also arm wrestle? Like, isn't he big into arm wrestling?
I think so. I think he does CrossFit and all that stuff.
Yeah. I whenever I see him on the chat or in a league, it's like, picture that. Remember that Sylvester Stallone movie?
Yeah, he reminds me.
Yeah, I think of that.
He reminds me of a polished version of Kurt Paul.
Would you rather watch a 6-hour-long live arm wrestling video stream or get a hand job by the women's world arm wrestling champion, an aggressive hand job by the women's world arm wrestling champion?
I'll probably choose the hand job. It'll be done soon, so I don't need to sit for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I can go and draft.
You may
it all
have,
boils down to how fast we can get back to the draft.
Sure.
I'll probably go ahead, JT.
I was just saying he may have to sit for 6 hours after, though. That's
a good point. Your purple mushroom.
I was going to do an in-depth analysis of what that would look like, because arm wrestling, it's kind of slow.
Yep.
So is she going to be kind of like slow and gentle, or is she going to be like bam, bam? What are you thinking, Chris?
I was getting turned on a little bit when you were doing this.
Yeah, I know. I could tell. That's why I was like, I better stop. He's going to flip and sprout one over there. Hey, just side note. Hey, JT, has anyone contacted you in the last week about maybe being a voice double for Newman?
I got a couple feelers out there, but I'm still waiting to hear back.
Okay, all right, because this could turn into something big for you, man.
Yep.
I did have a discussion with my mailman today, though.
All right, Bib. So what players have you been drafting over and over again? Who are you overweight on in your 20-some drafts?
Player I'm drafting over and over again. So I will talk about players probably in the later round, because first 9 or 10 rounds, I'm pretty much trying to balance ADP with my liking. For example, I will take Antonio Gibson in first round, but it has to be 1.8 or 1.9 or something to make a, grab at him, then do it at 1.2 or 1.3, right? So I'm a pretty much ADP balanced drafter, top 9 rounds. But one player who I really like this year, and I don't know why fantasy community has given up on him, is Bryan Edwards. He is my highest owned player, both in main events and football guys. And I've been grabbing him somewhere between 16 to 20 rounds. And the reason I like him, is when he came out of college last year, he was hurt, and fantasy community started taking him in 9th and 12th round. What's happening with Elijah Moore this year, right? And he's a big-bodied receiver, possession receiver. He can make those contested 50-50 catches and has a big catch radius, right? Reminds me of Demaryius Thomas, or, to an extent, he's athletic like Des Bryant. But the fantasy community is so much all over Darren Waller, and Waller is great, and that offense runs through Waller that people have forgotten some of these younger receivers they have taken, and I just love taking them as a hidden gem. I think he's having a great offseason from the reports that are coming out. Waller is little banged up. I mean, who's going to catch passes on that offense? And Ruggs is the speedy guy, and it may be Ruggs, but he has the and so I really like Bryan Edwards, because when I'm drafting, the later rounds, all I'm looking for is upside players, but not just rookies, right? So he's someone who's in most of my teams, and he's a late pick that I'm getting into.
He just passed John Brown on the depth chart as well.
Really?
He's running out of John Brown now. Yes. I saw that right after I drafted John Brown in my last draft.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm trying to do, and I think it will pan out, is I'm also, Ruggs is not expensive. People are drafting Nicole Hardman and those players ahead of Ruggs, but I'm even trying to see if I can get both Ruggs and Edwards, with the hope one of them evolves as the wide receiver one for that team.
I like that strategy. Okay.
And the light brigade, and he abused me basically for that offer.
Okay.
I think a second is more than fair. I think if you don't have a shrewd owner,
I really like him, and so I offered. You know how I trade. I offered a second. I'm not going to pay first. I'll wait for a few weeks and then pay a second again. But I really like him. I think he has all the. The only thing he doesn't have is probably elite speed that can create a lot of separation, but because people may argue that, hey, why does he have to get into the 50-50 contested catches and talk about separation? But I think the separation thing is also blown out. If you're a big bodied receiver and you can take 50-50 balls or jump balls, I think there's opportunity. And he was very polished coming out of college. If you go back and see his tape or feedback, he was just hurt. He had a foot issue and he came out of college last year. And then it was a great receiver class that he was buried in it.
Yeah, I was all over him last year. He was my number one free agent going into week one, for a guy that didn't get drafted and, a lot of the early drafts. And then he made a lot of noise in camp, a lot of buzz, similar to what he's doing now. But yeah, I remember spending like 40% of my fab budget where I really needed, like an alpha dog receiver.
Yep.
And I was able to get him, but same thing, he just couldn't stay healthy. I would love to see an analysis of second year players because we all get hyped on the rookies, but it seems like year after year, second year guys that are dismissed because we're all hot on the rookies this year, pop and do things. I remember drafting Stephon Diggs on my first dynasty league. I think I got him like in the 9th round of the startup draft on his second year.
Yeah. Go ahead. Bib.
No, I was saying the other interesting thing, Chris, you can look at the stat. What I have observed is sometimes when rookies perform well, they actually regress in second year. But I've seen the opposite happen with rookies who've not done well in first year and they evolve in second year, with receivers. I don't know why it happens, but that's the interesting thing I've noticed.
Based on that analysis, are you even higher than you were last year on Eno Benjamin now?
Who is Eno Benjamin?
Is that Kelvin's relative? Eno Benjamin? Kelvin's.
You know what? I liked Eno too, and he just popped up in the news the other day. He's got a very weak depth chart in front of him. I'm not saying he's going to be, Tommy Tremble or anything, but
yeah, but the point is, that's a wrong comparison to make because Eno is a running back, and the rookie, the running back and wide receiver evolution is totally different. I think the running backs, if they can't make an impression early in their career, especially in first year, it is concerning. Now there are exceptions, right? Melvin Gordon sucked year one, but he evolved in year two. But then on the flip side, you look at players like Bishop Sankey and Monty Ball, they never evolved,
God.
but with receivers,
Puked in my mouth a little.
I think it's different, and so I really like Bryan Edwards, and it's good. You guys don't need to draft him and just let him fall to me, and I'll take him.
He's
Did
not
you-
going to be falling too far.
Did you and Wasp get him in that main event?
Yes,
you did?
we did. We did.
I like I like that team quite a bit. I like the Kelsey, Clyde, Mahomes, and you even got Butker. I mean, you got 4 Chiefs you're going with every
Yeah,
week.
I mean, I didn't want Mahomes that high, but
No, I know you didn't.
But Wasp couldn't resist
Oh,
the
God,
stack.
he was-
I think the stack thing sometimes is overblown, right? You'll see some good players.
Yeah,
not do it.
I just like it. It's fairly unique. I mean, you have
But
4
whenever
Saints.
you have Kelsey and Mahomes, and if they are playing all the games healthy, you are in playoff contention. That's the thing with them, So
Yeah, I mean, I look at it this way. Okay, you got Kelsey, Mahomes, so you're going to get a lot of the passing touchdowns, passing yards.
Yep.
You got Clyde. If Clyde has a great year, you're going to get the
Yep.
rushing, probably some PPR touchdowns, and then if they get in the red zone and they don't get the touchdown, you're probably getting the points off of Butker. I mean,
Yep.
I thought that was pretty brilliant, actually. I won't say that about you and Wasp very often, but
Yep.
I liked it. I liked
it's
it quite a
funny
bit.
you like it. Wasp likes kickers early. That was his logic. I didn't want Butker there because I thought like a Tyler Bass will come back, and I'm okay with it in a high-scoring offense. I really wanted Nico Collins there, and he wouldn't take Collins there, and Collins didn't come back.
See, I thought you guys would have opted for Young Ho. I know you.
Yeah,
you're a
one
fan.
of those, right? Whether Young Ho or Zurline or Bass or Suckup or Suckup.
But not
Middle age
Tucker.
hope.
Not Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker too, but
Hey,
I thought
hey.
Tucker wouldn't come back.
Do you know what Justin calls his mother? Mother Tucker.
All right. That is the last.
Hey, that's a
Kicker
dad
discussion?
joke. That's a dad
That's-
joke right there.
that's
Thank you.
The last kicker discussion and the last
Oh.
kicker joke we should ever have.
Oh,
in the crowd.
whatever.
Hey,
Whatever.
kicker
Mother.
life-
Whatever. Mother
Kicker
Tucker.
lives matter. You are going to hurt someone on FFPC.
Well,
All right, babe, who you-
that just killed Zebb's corner. I was going to talk kickers, but go ahead.
All right, Bip, what players are you avoiding?
Players I'm avoiding. Well, there's a lot, but few I will tell you. Early,
Give me some early round guys.
Yep, early round guys. No Mike Davis, no Miles Gaskin. I want someone else to take them, right? So no on those 2 guys. From a running back standpoint, even if I go 0 RB, I'm not taking them. I'm trying to avoid Chris Godwin if I can. Again, it depends where I find him. I do like Mike Evans because of the touchdown chemistry he has with Brady, but I don't like Chris Godwin this year with Antonio Brown having a full off season and some healthy tight ends. I just don't know how that offense will play out, right? And then I'm a never Amari Cooper. I just don't want to draft him. Now, if I'm sharing a team, someone likes him, great. Even on that 8 finish team, Amari Cooper didn't show up in playoffs. If he had shown up in playoffs, it would have helped, right?
I remember you cussing him out last year.
Yeah,
Bip never cusses.
Yeah, and 2 years before, if you remember, Cooper started horribly, and so I benched him. And when I benched him, he had that 213 yards, 6 catches, 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
And I lost
Against
that
Kansas
game.
City.
Can you remember?
So
Against Kansas City, right?
Yeah, Kansas City. So he's one of those guys. I played him 6 games and he didn't. 7th game I bench him and he does that. And 8th game I play him again, 2 catches, 28 yards, right? So he's someone I don't trust at all.
So
Yeah.
so that interesting that you brought up that 213-yard game, because I remember, weren't you partners with someone on that league?
Yep.
So it was a Thursday night game.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here watching the game, and I
I was texting you.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh my! I can't even repeat that. I mean, I wish I would have saved them knowing that we were going to do this, but oh my God, you were so pissed off. And I was like, well, that's why I don't partner, man, you know,
but you know,
because you
that
didn't,
was,
I thought you wanted to start him. The other guy didn't.
yeah, the other guy didn't, but
Correct.
it's a team decision. Once a decision is made, and you know, I'm pretty compromising that way. And you know, that was the first year I played, I think, main event, so obviously it hurts. You learn from it, but then since then, you know, I'm more emotionally stable, and that's why you do so many teams. Something will stick out.
Yeah, you have to stay detached to an extent, or this hobby will just kill you.
Wait.
Hey, Bip, back to Gaskins. Why are you avoiding him?
So, you know, I just have this philosophy, and, you know, it's not scientific, but works for me, is I don't like free agents or players who sizzle and drizzle for 3, 4, or 5 weeks and have a very small sample size, right? I saw that with players like Justin Forsett, CJ Anderson, you know, back in the days, and all those kinds of things. Now there are exceptions like Chris Carson and players like that, right? So I just try to more take established players in the beginning of the drafts, right, who I trust. To that extent, you know, I'm even avoiding Austin Eckler. I don't trust him. I don't think he will be healthy for all the 16 games. I mean, he was a joy to watch last year and caught a lot of passes, and he was, I think, the #1 RB when he was healthy, but then he gets banged, right? And the reason I don't like Gaskins and Mike Davis of the world, because think about it, last year, they are all on waiver, and no one is touching them. No one is taking them. And then, you know, they suddenly evolve, and now they are going in 4th, 5th round. So Mike Davis and Myles Gaskin.
You're killing me, Bip. You keep saying passes instead of balls. So I think you prepped. I think you're intentionally doing that so I don't interrupt. And then you're throwing out words like banged. I mean, you're killing me,
How about
man.
touching?
Yeah, I can't, and I don't want to interrupt.
I think you checked the Zoom Zebb filter box.
Yeah, that could be maybe that could be a segment of the show. Like, say words that Zebb has to like bite his tongue on.
Yep.
Like you mentioned fizzle and dizzle. I'm gonna have to ask you to define dizzle for me.
Well, it's like an idiom, right? Sizzle and dizzle, which is like very
sizzle. Sizzle and dizzle. Okay, got you.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those.
I am lockstep with you on all of those. Like, exactly. I won't touch Gaskin. I think Mike Davis is like a scrub territory where he got opportunity last year.
Yep.
On, you know, a better offense in Carolina where they fed the ball to the running back because they're expecting, you know, CMC to be playing. Now he's in Atlanta where they don't feed the ball to the running back. And they just lost Julio, and they just signed Donta Foreman. And they have, you know, Hawkins, the rookie I like. I would much rather roll the dice on Hawkins in the 15th, 18th round, you know, and see what he can do. Yeah, I'm not going to have any Mike Davis. And I think the stat on Eckler that I saw was he's never had more than 12 carries in any game.
That may not be true, though. I think he had more than 12 carries last year.
It was either 12 or 16, one of those numbers, but maybe it was 16. He's never had more than 16 carries in a game. And people are taking him over Saquon. I think that's nuts.
Yep. I mean, Saquon, because of the injury thing, uncertainty, I get it in main events, you know, you may have only one team and you want to be risk-free, right? So, but I don't get people taking Eckler over Ezekiel Elliott or even Kamara. I know Kamara, a lot of things are not right, but hey, he's proven for 4 or 5 years and he's their most valuable asset now. And, you know, the interesting thing about Kamara, now that we talk, look at his stats when Michael Thomas has not played. When Michael Thomas has not played, I think Kamara has caught 6 passes in all those games. And just, you know, he's been a RB1 or top half of RB1. So anyways, yeah.
Hey, Bip, would you be a dumbass and take like Gibson over Eckler? Like maybe like say you have.
I don't think that's dumbass. I think I've taken Gibson over Eckler.
Tell him, Bip.
Oh, you would take Gibson over Eckler.
So I will. Yeah, I'm not going to pass Zeke or Derrick Henry. But after that, I don't mind taking Gibson over Jonathan Taylor, over even Barkley, because the injury situation is not clear, right?
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Let
No,
me
but
put
I
on
mean,
my
okay, yeah.
draft
Oh,
board glasses.
oh, we have sophisticated Chris. Is this kind of
Mm.
like from American Pie? Remember sophisticated Jim and laid back Jim? So we are getting sophisticated
Yep.
Christopher Vincent.
I
So
think you guys
Esther-
can guess which is my team with the 19th round pick or 18th round pick.
I asked Mr. Bip to send us his favorite redraft of the year, and this is what he sent us. Bip, why is this your favorite redraft of the year?
Yep. So this is a football, guys. I think I did mid July. Slow draft.
Slow.
So yeah, one thing I like is I thought I got value in Zeke in first round. Like I wasn't, I mean, I these days you won't find Zeke at 10, right? So I thought that was great for me, and that happened because someone took Eckler, Diggs, and Jonathan Taylor early, right? So I like that. And then the goal in this was to pound receivers. I wanted a DeAndre Hopkins team. And so I took Hopkins in second. And again, I thought it was value with Lamb in third, where because his ADP has gone up, and then Robert Woods every time reliable, right? And then it was really great to get it stacked with Kyler Murray in fifth round. Right now, I'm not a big stack fan. I'm doing a bit of stack this year, so that was really good, right?
Are you gonna like week one, Henderson or Kareem Hunt? Which one?
It depends what I see on the Thursday night game, because if CD has a bad game, I may not even play CD, right? You don't
got
know
ya.
that, right?
Yeah, forgot about
it's a
that.
long game. So
Yeah.
that's why I like this. I think this team will be fine. It's one of my better teams. So yeah.
JT, give it a number grade.
I give it a 8. It's not bad. It's got a lot of potential. I mean, I think getting Henderson before the Akers injury is
Yep.
big. That's a big push for it. And I don't hate any of the players that you took. Well, I don't like Kyler Murray, but other than that, it's good.
Why don't you like Kyler?
He likes Lamar Jackson.
He's too short.
Oh, easy. You like it? You don't like short men, John?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Zebb, he doesn't like you.
unlike Bip, I much prefer Hunt to Chubb, and I think this team is okay, but I don't know. I mean, it could be okay. I just see regression for Kyler. People are too focused on the situation, and I think his production last year was spotty and on the ground. I don't think he's as good of a passer as people think he is.
I think Kyler will have 50 touchdowns, 10 rushing and 40 passing. Just
Wow.
that's my hope. That's what I feel will happen with Kyler Murray, and
That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, and he'll be the MVP this year. That's what
Wow.
I think will happen.
That is a bold statement.
Yeah.
That is bold statement.
Biplab and I have a side bet on fantasy points this year: Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson.
And I love Lamar. I think he's killing it off season. I think he's very improved. I think he'll be great, but it's little his best receiver right now is, well, Andrews is there, but then it's Sammy Watkins, and there's all people are trying to make positive PR about how great Sammy is in the offseason, but they don't have receivers. The rookie is hurt. I think Bateman will still evolve, and then Marquise Brown.
He didn't need any receivers 2 years ago when he blew everybody away.
Well, I mean, what I like happened with this team, and that's where the decision worked out, was because I like Gus Edwards, I like Jamal Williams, but I ended up picking Henderson there in 10th, which gives me a sure shot starting running back right now on this team. And if you see, I needed running backs on this team.
Yeah, I like it.
What do you think about Rondale Moore?
Rondale Moore, I like him. I actually liked him and Elijah Moore coming out of the draft. Now, Rondale, if you look at it, he has this history of injuries. He already got hurt once this year. So those are the risks around him. Plus they have, you know, Christian Kirk is still there, AJ Green is there. So I just don't know what's the production. But I really like him as a talent and dynasty investment, you know, long term. In fact, more than Rondell Moore, I think right now there's good PR coming out of Terrence Williams. And I think Williams will see the field early with DJ Moore on that team in Carolina. Was he drafted in this one? I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about the rookie receiver in Carolina?
Yep.
Terrence Marshall.
Terrence Marshall, sorry. Yep, not Williams. Yep, Terrence Williams was in Dallas. Yep, he went in 14th year.
He is a talented dude, but he was some red flags for me coming out of the draft. Like he's not always playing 100%. He's not giving it his all. Yeah, I've avoided him for the most part. I might pay the price on that one.
You know, I would have probably taken Rondell if he had come back. Maybe that team thought I would and took him, so I took Bateman.
So we've been slobbering all over Bip's draft and his credentials for a little bit, but now we have to answer for this. Bip, you got the blue on blue photo, and when I first saw this, to me, this looked like, you know, some kind of guy they would profile on American Greed.
You know what that is? That's a guy with so much money he doesn't give a shit what people think about him, right?
That's the look on my face after I make a successful trade.
Like that's exactly the vibe I picked up on it. Like tonight on American Greed.
Yeah, so when I lived in Chicago, one of our neighbors was pretty wealthy. He had actually a board seat at the Chicago Board of Trade. But man, if you saw him on the sidewalk, man, you would have thought he was like, you know, borderline homeless, right? That's the vibe I get when I see Bip there with the blue on blue, the sweater under the sports jacket. I mean, that takes balls. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go.
So our buddies lost a bet. Yours truly.
Is he going to strip?
Anytime, Bip. Is this Pharrell? It sounds like Pharrell.
This is Curtis Mayfield.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day.
There we go.
So our buddies lost the bet, and he will be dressing up for a trip to Las Vegas. So this is Operation Frosty. What I've decided is Zebb will be dressing up as a gentleman of the night. A high-class pimp. A classy, sophisticated man of leisure. So the plan is to have Zebb, you know, not look like a Halloween costume, not like a caricature of a pimp, but an actual, like, people like looking at you like, what does that guy do? Who is he? What is he doing? So the plan is to dress you up, you know, in some fly ass threads, give you a little walking cane, like a diamond on it or something, pinky ring. I'll dress up in a nice suit and be like your handler, your concierge, you know, taking care of you, making sure that nobody fucks with you. And anybody that's going to be with us, like, you know, the gentleman we're chatting with right now, we could surround you. And if anyone asks us, you know, who is that guy? What does he do? I think what we tell them is his name is Frosty and he's the man. And that's all we say. Just let people wonder and just walk Vegas, you know, having a fun old time. And maybe we could record some of this and pick up some interesting video.
Yeah, so that's fine. Now, I just want to remind you that it's going to be very hot in Vegas. So I'd prefer this is not like middle of the day. Okay. Preferably during the evening.
I
But,
thought we agreed 24 hours of the outfit.
24.
I don't want to
Dude,
be
if I-
sadistic. I don't want to be sadistic with it, but we
No,
need to. We need
Yeah,
to get you out there
we're
faster.
gonna have to confirm that. I was thinking maybe like just during like, like the hours you're awake, 24 hours. I'm not gonna wear it while I'm asleep.
So let's talk fashion.
No, get it out of there. That is not classy. Go back to that guy. Yeah, that's like, that's if you're
Looks like
shooting
Looks like he
for
stole the coat
classy.
from his grandma or something.
I don't even know if he's sprouting pubes yet. Okay, that's not happening.
This looks very Halloween-y.
Yeah, too Halloween. Nope. Next.
It's got a little
Next.
potential. You don't
Hey.
like this one at all? What about the hat?
Nah. Nope. 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 Nope.
You're on mute.
How about dressed as Prince?
Ah,
Purple Rain.
That's
there
a
we
good
go.
vibe.
Hey, there you go. A short, fat prince.
Yep.
This would be a nice look for you, Zeb.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
no,
feeling it.
no. Yeah, I better get on the old ab flex.
Yep.
If I'm gonna do that.
All right, guys, running backs. Who are we targeting? You have your main guys, but who do you really want on your team? Who's that guy that when he gets drafted, you get that, that was your guy that just came off the board? Who are you targeting?
Christian McCaffrey.
So oh come on, Bip. Like,
It's
if you're
like
not
some chalk.
Jeez, Bip. I mean, like, so if you're not number one,
No.
if you're
Yeah,
number
I
two,
was
and
kidding. I think second round, I like guys like I don't want the Ecklers and all those stuff, but when I get to second round, and especially Chris, where we are going to draft, right? The say 2.11, I would really like Clyde or Najee Harris or Joe Mixon falling there, right? I think those are guys I like in the second round. I mean, Antonio Gibson, I'm assuming, is gone, right? So it's Gibson, Clyde, Mixon, Najee. Those are players I really like in second round.
so I think you just said you're going Cook and Mixon in the start of your draft.
If Mixon comes, I think Wasp and I are doing football guys right now, and we had the 1.1, and so we started CMC and Mixon. Mixon fell to 2.12, and then our 3.1 was Justin Jefferson. We still took Jefferson there.
Oh, geez.
I see Dillon getting drafted, I don't know, 8, 9, and to me that seems a little bit
too early. Yeah, too early.
If something happens
No,
to
I mean,
Jones,
that's fine, Chris. Dillon is going with Tony Pollard. I mean, that's where you start taking the handcuffs, right?
true, yeah.
Jamal Williams, right? He's right around there. But I'm not taking Dillon before Zach Moss or some of those starters run out, right? Zach Moss or Damian Harris. I'll still take them.
Agreed. One guy that I've been targeting that I haven't gotten my hands on yet is J.K. Dobbins. I really need some J.K. Dobbins action.
Yeah.
I think they're going to run Lamar a little bit less. And Dobbins, who's one of the top backs, down the stretch last year, had a touchdown, I think, in 7 straight games.
Yep. The only worry I have, Chris, is they really like Gus Edwards, and that limits some opportunities. But Gus is not the pass catching back there. But I think I agree with you. I think Dobbins probably has more upside than DeAndre Swift. That team is going to be a mess. The Lions.
Yeah.
Agreed. Clyde is another guy I really like. I think he can.
Yep.
So
be a top 5 back.
So just generally speaking here, when you guys draft, I found that like when I get running backs early, I feel a lot more comfortable going into the rest of the draft. Like if I go running back and then wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, and then I have to go running back, I'm starting to get a little bit anxious to get one. So like I have the 101 in Vegas, and obviously I'm going to go CMC. But
101, which draft is it? Super bracket?
no, this I don't have my super bracket spots yet. This one's on Saturday, like at 2.
Main event?
Yeah.
Wow,
but-
lucky bitch.
Yeah, I know. And I don't even spend as much as you. How about that? Must be this gorgeous face. They just see it and want to
Yep.
recruit me. But I don't know. I'm kicking around the idea of going just 4 wide receivers in a row. But then I look at like round 6 and on for the running backs, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know.
You
It's
can
gonna be
take
painful.
Dobbins there.
Oh yeah, round 6, yeah.
No, round
So-
1, round 2.
Well, I could.
three.
I could. Or 301.
Yep.
But
Where
who
the
knows?
part you have to be careful with CMC is, and I'm sure you've figured that out, is he has the week 13 bye, so you are not getting to the finals with CMC. Week 14 means you have guaranteed, because it was like Jonathan Taylor had week 14. What I liked about that is if you are in week 14, you have guaranteed $2,500.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
You're profitable.
Yeah, no, that see, like, and I hadn't thought of it that way. I like the draft I did with you and Wasp.
Yep.
I did a lot of week 13 buys, and the logic was I'm going to have like most of my starters going for the first 12 weeks, and so I might get best record and most points.
No, that's fine. Yeah, and you will make the main tournament, but winning money matters. I always tournaments as I still need to win my league and be profitable, and then whatever happens in tournament we'll see, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The funny thing is the team of mine that finished 8th overall actually ended up in your logic, Zebb. So I lost in the first week of playoff. So I didn't win the
Yeah.
I won $500, but that team was so loaded up that it just did well in the playoffs. But this thing hurt me, the bye weeks. I couldn't play some of my starts.
Yeah, it's a balance of like, okay, do I want to win the league or do I want to take a shot at the grand prize, right? So normally I try to disperse my bye weeks, but for some reason on this main event, I was just like, I'm loading up.
Yep.
I stopped looking at bye
CMC,
weeks.
Yep.
I stopped looking at bye weeks years ago when I'm drafting because I think it becomes a distraction.
Yes,
your team will change so much by the time you get to week 6, 12.
Agreed, Chris. The only thing I try to be careful is off late, only last 2 years, the FFPC tournament, when you have those week, the league playoffs, the bye weeks, I think matter. And while I don't look at all other weeks, but that's week, if you draft your top 5 players and 3 of them have that week bye, you are playing from behind. I agree teams change and all, but the top 5-6 rounds are your cash players. So, it has to be a balance of everything, right? So, yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't want it. I don't want that bye week decision to make me not take a player that can get me to the playoffs.
No, as long as
I hear you. I hear you.
Like a lot of teams may start Aaron Jones and Davante Adams. I'm just saying, and load up Rodgers later. That's okay. As long as you know about it and take a Chris Carson or David Montgomery and, fill that up, right? So I think John and I did that. John, we took 3 players, right? That have bye some.
Yeah.
We figured that out.
On our main event, but we kind of covered for it. As we go. And I agree with what you guys said on bye weeks, and I really think the only weeks to look at are 13 and 14. Other than that, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Or on bye week 7, I don't care.
Running back rookies, are there any guys low in the ADP that you guys really like?
Not me. I'm not a big rookie guy. I'll let Bip and John talk about that.
Well, I'll say there's no guys I love that are late ADP because I think there's a whole lot more Eno Benjamins this year.
Agreed.
I hear you. I hear you.
So how I am drafting this year, I am definitely taking an early running back and maybe RB start, right, where I can. So that's why I've not been a big ETN and Javante investor. I'm investing in Najee, yes, sprinkling it in. But I do really like Trey Sermon. So after Bryan Edwards, he's probably my second most owned player. I think Trey Sermon and sprinkle in Elijah Mitchell later. I really like that. I think Mostert may start. Mostert, we know, can't stay healthy.
Might get cut.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
No. Is his name Mostart or Must Start?
Bold prediction.
Okay, that would be nice. But Trey Sermon in 7th round or end of 6th, I really like. Because say you started with a Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey, you loaded the receivers and a tight end. Now you take Sermon and come back with Elijah Mitchell later and fill in these Jamal Williams of the world. I think you'll be okay,
I think
You
both
almost
Sermon-
sold me there.
I think both Sermon and Elijah Mitchell are more talented than Mostert. I mean, Mostert's fast, but he's old. He gets paid a lot, and he was kind of a pain in the ass last year, asking for a new contract or his contract to be restructured. I don't see any reason why, if they like what those two young guys are giving them, that they wouldn't tell him to go walk. And there's been a little bit of speculation about that. And if that happens, I think Mostert and Mitchell, the investment in those guys now is going to pay off huge, because San Francisco really knows how to run the ball. They have a great defense.
Yep. Good offensive line, Kyle Shanahan offense, so.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys said, but the leading touchdown rusher for the Niners this year will be Trey Lance.
Bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
If
Lance
is out there playing, then that's going to open up lanes for whoever's running the ball too. So I like that component of it as well.
Well, he's still a rookie. That's 50-50 there, but I can see that happening. I mean, there's no reason why that shouldn't happen. And Shanahan is a great coach. I really like how he thinks. He's learned from his dad, right?
That's what I be doing. I be stroking.
There's a dance.
You don't deserve the dance this week, okay? So, how many times have you listened to Strokin this week, Chris?
12.
Yeah, you had to think about it. Hey, Bip, have you been stroking this week?
Stroking what?
The music.
I don't get the lyrics, so.
Well, we'll have to explain them, buddy.
Okay.
Tonight on a very special Zebb's Corner, I'm going to be talking about my big wiener. Wow. Rough crowd. See? Don't even get any laughs. Continuation from last week. So here's the story, okay? So I have a 3-year-old, Teddy. Now, Teddy, within the last month, has started to get an erection, okay? So this happens like a month ago. I'm sitting in the kitchen. I'm doing dishes. And Teddy comes running to me. And he's like, Papa, I got a big wiener. I'm like, oh, my God. Really? So.
You're telling me he didn't get that from you?
Well, hold on. Story continues. So I'm like, oh, that's good, buddy. Yeah. You got a big wiener. He's like, yeah, I got a big wiener, Papa. So whatever. Next day, he has a friend, Keegan. Keegan's same age. They like to hang out. So we're going to go to like this splash pad, to see Keegan. Well, Teddy likes to run around the house naked all day. So it's time to leave. We're like, hey, Teddy, you gotta put some clothes on. He's like, yeah, I don't want Keegan to see my big wiener. And I'm like, oh my God. Right? So whatever. That was that weekend. Teddy was enamored with his big wiener. So a week after that, it's time for bath. I take a shower with Teddy. We're hanging out in the shower. He's playing with his toys. And I see him look over and he's just staring at my penis. I'm like, oh boy, what's he thinking? So he says, hey, Papa. I was like, yeah, Teddy, what's going on? He's like, you have a big wiener. Oh, penis size by country. JT, any idea what the largest size is? I mean, which country has the largest?
It's either somewhere in.
Look at him stall while he's Googling. It's probably in your favorites.
You think
It's
you
somewhere in Africa or South America?
think he really has to Google
yes.
this? You don't think he's already Googled this?
You are correct. It is in South America. Ecuador.
Brazil.
Ecuador. So interestingly enough, the average in Ecuador was 6.93 inches. And as a percent of average height, 10.54%. Now, that's not too interesting until you go to somewhere like India, which I certainly wish we had an Indian on the show to discuss this with, but
Hang on a second.
I will improvise. Average for India, JT, what do you think? So Ecuador was almost 7 inches. What do you think India is?
I'm going to go.
Here he is. He's frantically. 3.5? Jesus, oh my God. So India is actually 5.4.
I only know Biplab.
Yeah. So India's 5.4, and it is 8.28% of total height. Now, here's the interesting thing, which I want to discuss this. So the average male height in Ecuador is 5'5¾". Average height in India is 5'5 3/8". So not very far off. But we're talking almost a 1.5 inch difference in average penis size between those two countries. This is where we need WASP. This is where we need WASP.
It's a game of inches, Zebb.
Yeah. So
Game
what
of inches.
I'm thinking, because I don't want to play off of last week's episode too much. I wish WASP was here to assist, but I'm thinking Ecuador is overstating a bit. So similar height, but like a 25% difference in size seems like a bit much on average. This is on average, not like, biggest to biggest. This is on average. So I did have some calculations done for our special guest this evening. Mr. Mandel is about 6 foot tall. And if I applied that 8.28% ratio, he's pushing 6 inches. I was just going to ask him if that's ballpark. I wasn't going to ask him to commit, but I was thinking, is that ballpark? But he obviously isn't here.
We have a special guest in the Grotto Green Room. She's been waiting all night.
Oh, no. Oh, don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. I'm almost done. Go ahead.
Mrs. Biplap Mandel.
Oh, she's here. Oh, God.
She just dropped off. I'm sorry.
Oh, shucks. So what about so what's the smallest, JT? Any idea? Come on, you've had like 10 minutes to research. I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't research.
Cambodia.
I wouldn't have got that one.
So similar height to India and Ecuador, 3.95 inches. Now, the reason I bring this up, JT, is over the years you've been a connoisseur of micro penis research. Do you know what the definition of a micro penis is?
I do not know the actual definition.
Okay.
It's kind of a thing you know when you see it, I think.
Yeah. So this is interesting. No, I mean, this was very educational for me today. So a micropenis is 2.5 standard deviations from the average, or less than 2.75 inches long. The other thing, so assuming, I know your youngest isn't 18 yet, but like if this relationship goes on a few years and then it doesn't work out, you and your son could potentially be in the same Tinder age range search. So you're going to have to be very careful. Like, so how old are you, Chris?
45.
Okay, so let's say 2 years, you're 47, son's 18. Like, what's his age range going to be? He's not going to be going over, he's going to be wanting the early 20-year-olds for booze, right?
He's mature for his age, so he might go to like 18 to 40.
Yeah, so you're going to have to be, you're going to have to be,
mom action.
yeah, so you're going to have to be very careful, because what I can see happening, Psychic Zebb is making an appearance tonight, Nostradamus, if you will. I can see a show in the future where you're like, oh man, seeing this chick off Tinder, go over to her house in the afternoon and my son's car's there in the parking lot. So I don't want to hear about any father-son combos in the near future.
Proverbial crossing of the streams, like in Ghostbusters, where you can't cross the streams.
Yeah, this could be bad. But there's going to be a time where you can no longer use Tinder, I think. Is there like an old person Tinder?
I don't know. Should we look?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You tell me. But yeah, I just want the new girlfriend to know what's in store if things don't work out. We're going to have the 7-continent challenge, and you are going to update us each week. JT, thoughts? I think JT wants to try it.
One thought is that he's going to have to be pretty careful on that overlap, because I've seen some pretty well acted movies on the internet where a dad may go to work and things happen with the stepmom.
I love how JT is phrasing that. He's like walking, like stepping around mines.
I've also seen a few of those clips, JT, and yes, it can happen, and I just don't want it to happen to our buddy Chris. So
Zebb, I appreciate your care, your concern. I think we'll be okay.
Okay, well, you just let me know. See, look at him covering up there, JT. He's already like, oh God, I gotta cover this shit. Hey, so are we gonna make like a bet where one of us has to sing Strokin?
I think we'll have to put that in somewhere.
Yeah, has to be somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Zebb's Corner. And now, apologies. I'd like to apologize to Zebb for making him do it Zebb's Corner.
2 weeks in a row. Thank you. Now, thank you. Nothing awkward there. My God, I'm not even going to plan this anymore. I put so much effort into this.
Hey,
and then I get host.
One positive is at least you were much, much faster with the story this time.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought you'd be all over the penis size conversation, JT, and you were trying to ignore it. I don't know if you were like holding yourself down, if someone had you strapped into a chair, couldn't unmute or what, but I thought, okay, if I start talking about penis size, JT's
it's
gonna
hard
be all over this.
It's hard to freestyle Cambodian penis size. Personally, for me, it's not, a passion project of mine.
No, I hear you.
Zebb, you should blame it all on Bip for leaving.
Yeah, it threw me off. It did throw me off. I wanted to harass him. Thank you.
I would like to preemptively apologize next week for blaming everything on Bip. Bip, I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize to our friends at Zoom. I did not know that you can pay for Zoom month to month. Pro, you indeed can.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know what I owe you for that. Thank you.
Zeb, do you have anything you'd like to get off your chest?
Nope. Nope. I'm good. No big loads on my chest. Hey, but seriously, we need to get that the suit picked out. And seriously, for the viewers, for our 3 viewers,
10, Zeb, come on.
10.
Moving up in the world.
I mean, I hope everyone realizes you guys left me on an island, and I didn't notice it at the time, but like even right now as I'm talking, I can see you, I can see JT, but when you watch it on YouTube, it's just me, and it's just kind of weird, you know. It's like watching yourself jerk off.
Also not a passion project of mine, but I'm willing to learn. Yeah, we need to work on some things still. I need to become a lot better editor. We'll work on that soon. So next week in the Grotto, pass catchers and draft strategies. This is going to be a very special episode of the Grotto. Zebb had a tough winter and a tough fall.
Yeah, I did.
Zebb, how tall is that ladder?
A good 8 feet to the very top, I think. Yeah, probably 8. 8 for sure.
Spoiler alert, Zebb is not jumping from the ground to the top of that ladder.
Wow, is that a bald spot I got or a calic? I've never noticed that.
It's funny
Right?
that that's the most concerning thing to you.
Well, I know what
About
happened.
this.
So I mean, I'm a stallion, Christopher. I can survive almost anything. Okay.
As I've heard. Gentlemen, thank you for another
Oh, wait.
exciting-
Hey, you said gentleman and Biplab isn't here. I'm not a gentleman. Gentleman and Zebb is, I think, what you intended to say.
Gentlemen and Zebb, thank you for another exciting, thrilling appearance in the Grotto. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook. Wait, we don't do anything on Facebook, right? Yeah, no. Twitter.
Yeah, not yet.
Classic
No.
Grotto Twitter. We're hiring a social media director and a Twitter guy, Twitter lady, Twitter person.
Just a heads up for the Twitter person. If you show up to the interview and Christopher Vincent has like a couch and a room with blinds pulled down, run for your life, okay? Run for your life. Right, JT?
I've seen a lot of people take the job on the casting couch.
All right, this is a segment for next week. We're gonna name some kind of scenario and whether or not JT has seen a video revolving around that scenario. So
All right, I'll see you guys.
thank you for not bringing up my pizza boy delivery story.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you
Forgot about
and
that.
good night.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Yeah.
Later.